I'm Jesse Richard, founder and editor of TvNewsLIES.org. Today, I'm going to give you a quick lesson on how the news media in our country lie to you by telling the truth. That's right, they can tell the truth, they can swear to tell the truth, and they can be honest about telling the truth, and yet they can be lying through their teeth. I'm going to give you a very quick, simple, silly example, but I want you to expand it out into the real world because this is just one of the many techniques that the news media use to lie to you every single day. Let's take a quick look. Hello, I'm Sam Champion from the establishment news media. I've been handed a special news breaking alert, story alert, special story, something that they always print up on the screen when I tell stories like this. And it is about George W. Bush, the former president of the United States. That's right, we're getting a report that George W. Bush fell out of a moving plane on its way to its destination, and in what some are calling a miracle, is unharmed after the incident. That's right, George W. Bush, former president, has fallen out of the plane. Apparently he was wearing some protective clothing, some special jumpsuit, and some new high-tech shoes that cushioned his fall and protected him from harm. Attempts to interview Mr. Bush were unsuccessful. Our reporter on the scene said Mr. Bush was babbling incoherently, while other witnesses say Mr. Bush was just speaking in his normal style. More as this news story develops. Okay, so that was a silly little news report about a fictional story, but for the sake of this demonstration, let's just say everything that was said in that piece was true, with the exception of the babble part, which could be opinion or could be reality, depending on your point of view or your awareness. Let's just go over the story really quick. You got a news report that stated that the former president of the United States, George W. Bush, was in an accident where he fell out of a moving plane that was moving towards its destination, and that he was wearing a special outfit and special high-tech cushioned shoes, and they protected him from the fall and he was unharmed. Okay? So let's just itemize that. Was George Bush involved in the story? Yes. Did he fall out of the plane? Yes. Was it moving? Yes. Was it headed toward its destination? Yes. Was Mr. Bush wearing a special outfit? Yes. Was he wearing protective shoes? Yes. Was he unarmed? Yes. Everything in this story was true. The news media can claim that they tell the truth, and they were telling the truth, and they were right. They can go to court and swear on a stack of Bibles that said, yes, this was a true story, and it would be, it would be so. They can get into heaven because they didn't commit the mortal sin of lying. Well, I don't know if that's a mortal sin or whatever. You got to look that up. They can also take lie detector tests and pass with flying colors because the reporters were telling the honest truth. But in a technique, one of many used by the media to leave you with a false impression, which is a lie, by the way, definition of a lie, leaving a false impression, they left out a few details that might change your perception. Let's take a closer look at the plane. It's a small little experimental two-seat plane. Where was it going? Its destination was the end of a driveway, and it was only going 2 or 3 miles per hour, and it was only 2 or 3 feet above the ground. So George Bush's fall was that of tripping out of a car that was parked for all intents and purposes. Now those details change the entire picture in your mind. This is a technique of deception. When you hear reports, you are hearing partial truths started at convenient points in history. And this is one of so many techniques of deception. Now, granted, the news media often allow or permit or themselves lie through their teeth. They put forth false statements and false information. But here's an example, a silly example, of how you can use real information, accurate information, truthful information, factual information, and still lie. This is the biggest technique used other than not reporting certain news at all. But with the news that does get reported, this is how it is presented to you in a deceptive way to leave you with a false impression. So keep that in mind when you're watching these criminals. And by the way, the only miracle about that story isn't the miracle that George Bush survived unharmed from this tremendous fall. The miracle is that people like Wolf Blitzer and the people that lie to you on a daily basis can make it from their doorstep to their car to get to work every morning without a mob of people taking them and dealing justice to these people. For TvNewsLIES.org, my name is Jesse Richard.